Thanks for staying with us. We still have with us the DG of the National Orientation Agency himself, Mr. Mallam Lanre Issa Onilu. Sir, I want to talk to you. I wanted to ask you about NARTO. That's the National Association of Road Transport Owners. They are the ones that have the responsibility of the tanker, the health of the tankers, to ensure that the drivers are competent. How are you taking your orientation, sensitization plans and strategy to NARTO?
Yeah, I'm not sure I got that question very well.
So NARTO, that's talk about the National Association of Road Transport Owners. How are you sensitizing them to ensure the health of these trucks that they put on the road, also with the competence of the drivers?
Yes, as we did in Gurara local government, that is being replicated in all the 774 local governments as I speak, engaging with all these stakeholders, including the national, that is the Road Transport National Association of Nigeria and the other arm of it. So everybody is being brought on board. Like I said, the security agencies, the community leaders, the road transporters, the vigilante. Everybody is being brought, not just on the issue of fuel tanker, falling off the road, but also in all the areas of orientation. We work with all the stakeholders. And as we speak in NOA, we have huge data of all these relevant stakeholders in all the local government. You can ask for the chairperson or the secretary of any association, whether onion seller, whether yam seller, whether hairdresser. We have all of these people that we engage with on a continuous basis, telling them what government is doing, getting feedback from them, and telling them what is expected of them as Nigerians. So the road transporters are fully brought into this issue. Even in the area of the farmer herders, we have engagement with the Miyetti Allah, we have with farmer association, we have with all sorts of stakeholders, on a continuous basis. But like I said, until we have definitive value system, where everybody will even understand what it means to be a Nigerian, before we can begin to locate ourselves, whether you are a good Nigerian or not. As we have today, we do not have any clear definition of who a Nigerian is. And then people can do whatever they like and still say they are proud to be Nigerians. So you can't be proud to be Nigerians if you are behaving badly.
When we talk about value systems, sometimes I always feel that our approach to getting back this value is always too academic. It's about throwing messages out there, trying to take people, because people don't listen to what they feel that would influence, that they can benefit from. I feel as government, maybe a better strategy is when we honor people's work. So, for example, we have Mr. John, who he does in poultry farming, and we see how Mr. John is honored with the work he does, and we see the value change of how he actually helps people to put food on the table. Is those value in the work the average Nigerian does, that we put out there, that communicates to Nigerians how they must respect a man who is into poultry, and when they see his chicken fall off on the expressway, they don't pack it and that's possibly Mr. Johnson's chicks, and we have to put it back for him to continue to work so he can have eggs on the table. So that value change must be set to Nigeria indirectly. All those direct messages sometimes comes across too academic for Nigerians. And what other strategies? Well, the question therefore is, what other indirect strategies are you applying, aside from just putting out messages and jingles and adverts? What other indirect strategies are you adopting to help with this value we're trying to bring back?
Yeah, that is why we need to put in place institutions of nurturing or of indoctrination, as I said. For instance, the 7 institutions that we have identified have the potential, to create a lasting, value orientation for our country. For instance, I can tell you that by September this year, the federal government would launch the citizenship study, which will become compulsory subject from primary school to tertiary institution. As we speak, following our request from FEC in September last year and the approval we got, as we speak, the agency in charge of developing curriculum is working tirelessly to incorporate all this value orientation programs into the curriculum, for Nigerian from primary school. And as of today, they have done up to JSS3 from primary 1.
That's good.
And then it will be, so by September, it will be launched. And that would become part of our system, that anybody who passes through the four wall of a school would be drilled and given value orientation as a compulsory, subject, and will grow up with this orientation. So it's not going to be happenstance. It has to be something that is incorporated in us right from that. We're also working with the agencies in charge of artisans to ensure that when they plan program to upskill artisans, value orientation is also incorporated into the curriculum of even artisans in this country. So where you're learning carpentry, you're learning bricklaying or hairdressing, value orientation is incorporated into all of this. And we are also soon to launch the citizen brigades, which is fashioned after Boy Scouts and Girl Guides, that will be in our primary school and secondary schools across the country, where we are going to raise children on values. There are going to be voluntary, associations where we will create models amongst our children, where they are going to be the earliest, adopters of these values, and they will be ambassadors of the values and become, model for their peers, to see how a Nigerian should be. And so the curriculum for that is also being developed in a way that these citizen brigades in schools would be involved in community development, community outreach, and, exhibit duty of care for all of us to see what is expected of us as Nigerians.
All right, go ahead, Amaka.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, we know accidents happen, and the priority here is human lives. And we know that when an issue like this happens, the national hospitals might not be close to the scene of the accident. Most times, you have private hospitals around, and most of these private hospitals will require funds before they can start treating these victims or these people. So are there plans, or do you think collaborating with hospitals, in every local government is a good idea, so that when issues like this happen and you need first responders, so that if the distance between the scene of the accident and the national hospital is too far and someone can give up the ghost before they can get quick treatment? You understand? So what's your idea? Do you think this is a good idea to collaborate with hospitals, and how do you plan to go about it?
Yeah, I think the people in charge of this who are responsible for this did very well in the case, like for instance, the last one that happened in Diko in Niger State. They took them to the hospital promptly. But beyond that, it still comes back to the issue of having this value system embedded in all our activities, so that anybody who gets to an accident scene, the first thing in his mind is how to care for a fellow Nigerian or a fellow human being. And in the process of caring, then you will do everything beyond the call of your duty to ensure that whether the person needs to get to the hospital, it gets there promptly. And when it gets to the hospital, the nurses, the doctors, all the workers in the hospital will also respond just beyond the call of duty. They will see it as a responsibility, part of our value to care for ourselves. And the community, everybody involved will come from that point of view of duty of care. So, and that's why we are emphasizing that, yes, we will do whatever we need to do in the immediate to ensure that everybody lives up to his or her responsibility. But beyond that, it must become a cultural thing. It must become part of our system. Okay. It must be natural to us to care for ourselves. We should not, we are discussing issue of fuel tanker falling, and because people are likely to die and are dying from it. But even there are communities in this country today that if you have bags of rice in a truck and you pass through the community will ransack and steal all the bags of rice. They will remove it, or some other items like that. That should never happen. Besides being criminal, it also shows that we do not care for ourselves. That's somebody's business that you are doing that to. So we must bring this value system by all means.
Thank you very much.
As the president has said clearly, you cannot build a country when the citizens have not been built. So you must build Nigerians so that Nigerians can build Nigeria.
All right. Thank you very much, DG. I think we can wrap up with that. Thank you. We're speaking to the DG of the National Orientation Agency, Mallam Lanre Issa Onilu. Welcome. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on the show. I mean, so ladies,
my pleasure always.
We'll be wrapping up very soon, but I mean,
I think I like the last statement
Yeah.
of we need to build Nigerians so they can build Nigeria. I think that's the gap. We have not spent time building Nigerians. Our children need to know this is who we are as Nigerians. These are things we don't do as Nigerians. And if they know it from that place upwards, then we can change the way we think.
That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.